welcome back to the channel. So today I'm checking out San Diego Comic-Con's exclusives in the Super 7 Ultimate G.I. Joe line. This is Red Knock and Red Jackal, or Baroness and Destro really. These are just variants. I got mine from the Super 7 web store. I think I paid $110 US, which is about 170 Australian. They are still available if you're interested. I kind of ummed and ahed about these, wasn't really sure. I did like Destro in Wave 2 and I didn't think Baroness was that bad, but I was disappointed with the other two. But I did contact Super 7 beforehand about Red Knock and just asked would the face be painted, and I think their response was she'll be the same as the Series 2 version, so kind of got my answer there. So at least I knew what I was getting myself into. So taking a look at the packaging, the first thing I've noticed is the lack of the nice metallic glossy packaging. This is quite a flat matte. It's not bad, but if you look at the previous one, you can see this has got that nice high gloss, it's embossed, whereas this is quite flat. But then they are variants, so it's not really a big deal. Red Jackal has the skull and crossbone, and then Red Knock just has the cobra. And then let's take off the slip cover. Let's have a look at these. There we are. So a nice matte black finish for Red Jackal, and then this almost like a burgundy for Red Knock. Flipping them over, they do have a little bit of a distinction on the back, so you can see that the Red Jackal was a UK release. I don't remember seeing him when I was a kid, and I certainly don't remember the Red Knock, which was the Indian release. So obviously Super 7 have just tapped into that market and given us something a little bit cool. Why not? It's pretty much what Mattel did with their Faker when they released their Faker and Duplicate. I think that was based off an Indian variant. Anyway, let's open them up and take a look. Okay, so here they are out of the packaging with all of their accessories. Now I will say that Super 7 really cram their figures into those clamshells. It's really difficult to get them out, and I do get worried that I'm going to break them. So that's maybe something that they need to improve, or maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just a bit of a wimp when it comes to taking my figures out of plastic. So let's take a quick look at the accessories. So starting off with the Red Jackal, he comes with digital binoculars, a red sidearm, a laser pistol, a pair of wrist rockets, a pair of wrist grenades, a laughing head sculpt, an angry head sculpt, right gripping hand, right pointing hand, left gripping hand, and a left pointing hand. He also comes with this pretty cool backpack. And then as for Red Knock, she comes with a red assault rifle with sling, a laser pistol, a small pistol, a holster, a left trigger finger hand, a right holding hand, right pointing hand, left holding hand, a smirking face sculpt, and a disguise sculpt. Okay, so starting off with Red Knock, rather than doing a full review, I've already reviewed Baroness from Wave 2, so if you haven't seen that, go check that one out. Here I'll just do a direct comparison between Red Knock versus Wave 2 Baroness. Straight away, I can tell you that the Red Knock comes with everything that the Wave 2 Baroness has. So here I'm only going to be comparing the accessories that they both come with. Note that Wave 2 Baroness comes with a lot more than Red Knock does, but Red Knock does not come with anything that Wave 2 Baroness does not come with. That makes sense? It did in my mind. So starting off, the weapons. The only thing really to note here is the sling for some reason is separate in Wave 2 Baroness or OG Baroness, whereas with Red Knock it's actually attached, and it looks like you can take it off. Yeah, you can. It's pegged in, but it's pegged in the box. That's the only difference. You can see that the weapons are the same, just a difference in colour. Same with the laser pistol. This is a little bit warped. So OG comes with the grey version, and then Red Knock comes with the black version. Same for the pistols. Red Knock's is black, OG is grey. Holsters, OG is yellow, and Red Knock's is grey. I really wish that they'd, I mean, it's a lot to ask, I really wish that they'd put a magnet in here. this just does not peg in and stay in for me. But they are essentially the same. And then in terms of the actual head sculpts, so as I said, I did email Super 7 and just asked, are the face sculpts going to be painted? And I didn't get a yes or a no. I think the response was, it'll be the same as Wave 2. So here you can see Wave 2, it's not painted. And then Redknock, it's not painted either, but maybe it's just the rose. Maybe the reflection of the rose glasses just gives it a little bit more depth. I don't know, what do you think? And then for the disguised sculpt, I call it disguised sculpt because this to me looks like she's going for that kind of old lady look. I think there's an episode where she disguises herself as an old lady because of the grey that's going through the hair, whereas this one doesn't have that. Also note that the lips, like a pink on OG and a deep red on Redknock, and then the glass as well are a rose tinted glass here and just a clear glass there. But the sculpts are the same. I think I prefer this one. Definitely, it could just be the lips because they're darker. It just looks like a deeper paint job. The eyes look better as well. And I don't really like the grey, because it's more like a blue. So I think this is a better sculpt, a better head. And the default head that she comes with, again, something about this version. This looks really soft. This one just looks better. The lips look wider. The brows look a little bit more menacing. There's no difference in the sculpt. The hair is just warped. It should really be over there like this version. They are essentially the same. And then looking at the actual body, you can see that they are identical. One thing which really pissed me off with this one was the sloppy paint job on the neck and around the collar. And it looks like this one, yeah, it's only slightly better, but it is better. So obviously they had, I think Super 7's official response to the lack of paint was that the prototypes were painted, and then when they came out of the factory they weren't. So I'm going to say it's probably the same for this. They probably just, when they ordered these as well, and the same situation. That's probably why this isn't painted. But this one does look better. And then the sculpts are identical. Obviously it's just the paint job. So note the matte finish on the gloves for OG, and this is more of a gloss on Redknock. Same for the boots, although OG does have a gloss boot, and so does Redknock. So there you are. One thing that they both share, this one is super wobbly. This one isn't as wobbly, but one thing that which they both share is standing up is an issue for them. Okay. And then moving on to Destro versus the Red Jackal. Pretty much the same rule applies here as it did with Redknock and Baroness. The Red Jackal does come with a few accessories that Destro doesn't, but Destro comes with a heap of accessories that Red Jackal doesn't come with. So the first thing is the backpack. So this is the same backpack that we got with Flint, but in black and red. But this is the only thing really that Red Jackal comes with that Destro doesn't. Well, that's not true. He also comes with an alternate pistol. So he comes with this laser pistol as well, which is the same as what Redknock came with. And Baroness also has this in grey. Destro has a bunch of other pistols, like this one for example. But he doesn't come with this version. But yeah, the backpack, I do like this backpack. I liked it on Flint and I like it here. It works really well. And then everything else is the same, just recolored. So the pistols are the same. Oh, there is one other thing actually that Red Jackal comes with. So he comes with 2 of these grenade gauntlets, whereas Destro only comes with 1. In fact, there is a subtle difference there. So I think that one, yeah, that's Destro's. So I don't know if you can see that. The slight difference. This is a darker red and a darker metallic. So this is Destro's, just the 1, and then Red Jackal does come with 2. The digital binoculars are the same as well, just red versus blue. And the same for the wrist rockets. Same rule applies here. You can see, I don't know if that's just my eyesight or if it is, it looks like it's a deeper metallic here than here and a deeper red. Maybe it's like a very subtle wash. It is ever so slightly different, which makes it easy for me because I put all my accessories in one tub, so I'll be able to pick them out. Speaking of that, the head sculpts. There is a distinction here, and it's the eyes. OG has these green eyes, Redknock has red, but other than that, they are the same. Again, it looks like a very, very slightly darker metallic for Red Jackal. I don't know if you can see that. And same for the laughing heads. And because his eyes are closed, here I will have to rely on that deeper metallic. The hands are all the same as well, all the exact same hands. Obviously this one comes with a lot more than Red Jackal, but Red Jackal doesn't come with anything that Destro doesn't. And then the actual figures themselves. So just take a look at that. Hopefully you can see that the metallic on Red Jackal is ever so slightly darker. If you look at the gauntlet side by side, you can see that it is darker. And there are some differences with the paint applications here and there. The sculpts are obviously identical, but there are some differences. So the boots are like a nice shiny black versus the matte grey. And then even the straps here, the silver buckles on the leg strap versus just grey. The black gloves versus the silver gloves. The red on the belt, white here. The undershirt is, if that is an undershirt or if it's his body, versus the red. Medallion is different. He also has the skull and crossbones. This one doesn't. And then obviously the collar, a very slight ivory versus the red. Unlike Baroness, they stand up no problem at all. Okay, so my final thoughts on Super 7's G.I. Joe Ultimate exclusives, Redknock and Red Jackal. You know, I was very nervous about getting these figures. I was not impressed with the Wave 2 line of figures, although Baroness and Destro were the standouts. So I sat on this, I ummed and ahed, and then finally I pulled the trigger, and now that I have them, I'm actually quite impressed. They're not too bad at all. In particular, the head of Redknock is actually better than my Baroness. I don't know if that I just got a bad Baroness or they actually have improved the paint application. I did contact Super 7 about that beforehand and their answer was somewhat ambiguous. But this Baroness just looks a little bit better than my version. When it comes to Red Jackal, he is essentially a repainted Destro, and what's not to like there? They don't come with any extra accessories apart from the backpack, which we already got with Flint. It's just recoloured here. And there is a different pistol with Destro, but other than that, they come with everything that the default Wave 2 versions came with and nothing more. Those figures do come with a lot more than these, so if you're only after a Baroness and a Destro, maybe get those over these. And that brings me to my next point, that these are essentially variants. And that is exactly what I expect with an exclusive. A variant, they've tapped into the Indian and UK market from the 80s and done something a little bit fun. It's really quite disappointing when companies release main characters and they are exclusives. They're very difficult to get here. So if you're only interested in the main characters in the G.I. Joe Ultimates line, then you can easily pass these. Another thing when it comes to distribution, very good in Australia. I simply jumped on the Super 7 web store and bought them, and a couple of weeks later, they were delivered. I've also seen them on Amazon, and I would dare say that Pop Culture will probably be getting them. Although you could comment that that's probably because no one wants them, so they've got a surplus in stock, but I doubt it. So when it comes to recommending these figures, yeah, I can recommend them. They are nice figures, then they're nice variants. If you are collecting the whole line, then yeah, why not? If you're not and you're only after the main figures, then go for the Baroness and Destro from Wave 2. Those are the standouts for that wave. But that about wraps up this review. I certainly hope that you've enjoyed it. And if you have, please do consider subscribing and liking the channel. Until next time, take care.